Good morning, everyone. I have put together an idea where I want to connect the challenges of modern leadership and finding a solution from ancient scriptures. Now, the plan today is to give you this idea, connect it to your challenges from today, make sure that you can process this information and help you become a better leader. You're all going to be leaders. You would be required to solve problems which are related to technology, problems which are related to money, problems which are related to resources, and problems which are related to humans. You would have noticed that I have kept human and resources separately, not like how you have learned as human resources, because these are two different problems. Let's understand that when we are trying to solve these problems, the logic is very high when it comes to technology and very low when it comes to human. So is the visibility and definitely the speed at which they work. And hence, if you have an idea, you have clarity, you can find a solution for technology. If you now understand the management of finances and funds, or you have an investor, you can solve the problem for finances. However, there are some other things playing here. Emotions. Emotions are the highest for humans and lowest for technology, and so is the complexity. And hence, if you have understanding of systems, understanding of managing, you can find a solution for your resources. However, to solve human problems, you will only need wisdom and leadership. Wisdom is paramount. It is the most important thing to help you make right choices, help you develop yourself, informed or educated decisions, and more importantly, at the end, help you have a fulfilling and meaningful life. But the question is, where would you find wisdom? You can find wisdom in our ancient scriptures. You can find wisdom in your global case studies. Importantly, you can find wisdom with your grandparents, or if you have a senior around you, you can always find wisdom. I'm going to give you three stories. One, what your grandfather would tell you, one, what the books can tell you, and one from the ancient scriptures. What I'm going to do is cover three perspectives. One is your social perspective, second is your professional, and the third one is your personal life. Starting with the social one. I believe you know the story. The story goes like this, that there were two cats. They saw bread under the tree. They both went for it and they were struggling. The monkey saw this. The monkey came down and he says, because you are equal, you should get equal share and let me divide it for you. The monkey purposefully made two unequal parts of the bread so one could complain. He ate some portion from this to make it smaller than the other, and in the end, the monkey ate the entire bread. And what did the cats get? Nothing. Therefore, what did you learn? The the main idea is, if there is somebody telling you to fight, for equality, he's playing you, she's playing you. In such fight, you will get nothing. The one who is playing is the one who will have everything. If the cats were dividing equally, they would not have to go through this. So my question now is, look around you. Is there somebody which is asking you to fight and attributing that fight to the color of your skin, to the religion you follow, to the gender you have, or the country you belong to? That person is playing the monkey. And you know at the end who gets the bread and who doesn't. I want you to remember this. Now let's connect it to our story. We all know the story. Let me elaborate that. The Kauravas took all the monies from Pandavas to make sure that they can go away, stay in exile, and stay unknown in a stealth mode. When they came back, they were refused any of their rights. And eventually, even after consolation, when there was no solution, there was a war of righteousness called Mahabharata. Now, if you focus on the story, you will see that they fought for the righteousness. They fought against injustice. They fought against the trick which was played on them. They did not complain, oh, you have a bigger army. How can we have a fight? They did not complain that, oh, you have bigger warriors than we have. They did not complain on anything. They just fought for a cause, not for a reason. And you have to understand the difference between fighting for a cause versus fighting for a reason. Now let's connect it to a modern world. I'll give you a story of Google. Now, Google, in the year 2006, decided to launch the search engine in China with some censorship by google.cn because their government wanted censorship. They wanted to hold on to some information not going forward. They started kind of feeling some suppression. 3 years from that, they noticed that the number of cyber attacks on the Google accounts and the amount of suppression which was happening was too high. And in the year 2010, they decided that they will stay by the cause of providing uninhibited, uninterrupted, non censored information to the user at the cost of business in China. So you see, like in Mahabharata, they stood by the cause and led away the reason. Google did that. Now imagine if Google can follow what is written in your ancient wisdom, why can't you? Now let's look at the second perspective, which is your professional life. You know the story? So, cats are a menace for rats. All rats got together saying that we have to find a solution to beat the cat. And then they realized the cat is too big to beat. So we should just tie a bell around cat's neck. Everybody applauded. Oh, what an idea. We should just tie the bell and we'll get a warning. But the question was, who will bell the cat? And guess what? At the end, the idea was shout. Isn't this what is happening today? You have all the ideas, the feedback, the suggestions, and all the criticality. But if that cannot be backed by someone taking the responsibility, someone taking the ownership of doing it, what is the point? Isn't this what we are doing today? And we are complaining. If you look at the story is telling you take ownership, take responsibility. And I'll associate it with another chapter which is from Ramayana. I guess you know the story that King Dasharatha gave an unconditional promise to his wife. The wife then said that her son Bharat should be the king instead of the right hire Ram for the kingdom. Ram accepted, he said, I'll honor the promise, and he relinquished the throne to Bharat. When Bharat came to know, he said, no way, that's not the right way of doing things. You are the higher, you are elder, you are more wise, you do it. The debate went on, and then they eventually decided that Ram's symbol, his kadau, will be taken by Bharat, kept there at the throne, and he will rule the kingdom till Ram returns. Both of them stood by the responsibilities which were not easy. Ram had an exile for 14 years, and Bharat had to rule without being a king. However, they both stood there. At the end, we know the respect of Ram we have. We also know There is a contribution why our country is also called Bharat. So that is the level you have an achievement if you follow wisdom from ancient scriptures. Now, let me give you a connection to a modern story. This is a story of Coca Cola. In the year 1985, Coca Cola was facing real challenge from Pepsi. Their market share was going down. They did all the research, the taste experience, all the science and everything, and then they decided that they're going to launch a new Coke, right? What happened? Backlash, boycott, sales drop, and it was a mess for them. What happened? At that time, their CEO, he came forward and said, I take the ownership and responsibility of this failure. And he announced the launch of the old Coca Cola Classic. Long story short, then Coke became the leader and continues to be the leader. And that is showing you that if you stand by your responsibility, you get what you want. Now let's come to the third part of my presentation, which is about your personal life. This is story of earning. I'm sure all of you like it, right? It's a story about earning. So I have a question for all of you. Can you give me a list of things which are free in this world? Air, mother's love, Google, blah, 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 right? The reality is there is absolutely, without exception, nothing free in this world. There are stuff which have a price tag, and there is stuff which do not have price tag. The stuff which do not have price tag, which we thought are free, are in two categories: priceless, worthless. So let me give, with the help of some example, stuff which has price tag: food, clothes, house, bike, holiday, all the luxury materialistic things, they have price tag. But things which do not have price tag: love, care, wisdom, knowledge, friendship, camaraderie, respect. These are those things which we thought are free, but they are priceless. But there is another category which also do not have a price: gossip, envy, ego, backtalk, stabbing, blah, blah, blah. I think this you know how you can buy the stuff, make more money. Money is the currency to buy this. So go make a business, get a good job, work hard, work smart, make money. How about this? This doesn't have a price tag. Do you know that this is also not free? Even your mother is not loving you free. Let me prove it. Has your mother never asked you, oh, I give you so many kisses, you kiss me back? So it's not free. But there's someone who has not even asked you to kiss back. Do you know who's that? That's your father. Although he's all doing not because it's free, it's because he is paying back to this universe by creating you as an individual. Let me tell you, the currency here is interchangeable. Love your mother gave you, you would have to care for her when she grows up. The love your father gave you is by being someone which he wanted you to be. Your teacher is giving you knowledge, you give them respect. Your nurse, your doctor is giving you care, you give them respect, and so on and so forth. So trust me, if you've got this figured out, you will know nothing is free and everything has to be bought with a currency. Oh, and there is a currency here also. What is the currency? How do you pay for gossip, ego, envy? You pay it by your future. If you focus on this, that's what is going to happen. Therefore, my friends, there's nothing free in this world. Money is not the only currency. Money is an outcome of your focus on priceless, defocus from worthless. Point is, what are you about it? Pick a chapter from Mahabharata, which you may not have known. You know, Pandavas in their exile were looking for food, water, very thirsty. They found a lake. They went to the lake. The lake was guarded by someone who said, "You have to answer my question first. Otherwise, if you drink, you die." All the four brothers, we'll get to it later, and they all four died. Yudhishthir finally went there. He agreed to him and said, "Okay, ask me." He asked, he gave all the answers. He revived his brothers. They all drank water, and at the end, they realized that the guardian was none other than Yama. So, my friends, if you can focus on wisdom, you can even betray death. Virtue and wisdom is what you require. Don't be in a rush of results. Yudhishthir said, "Okay, I'll deal with it." All the brothers said, "No, no, I want the result." And they ended up dying. How is this connected to a modern story? Let me tell you a story from Johnson and Johnson. There was a mistake which happened at Johnson and Johnson's product. As a result, 5 people died. The company came in, they responded, they withdrew all the stock back, all of it, which was hundreds of millions of dollars. They shared all the information of the lawsuit with the public. At the end, they regained the trust of the market or people or patient, and we know today it's a respected brand. The question is, isn't this which grandparents asked us to focus on? They were focused on people, not on business goal. As a result, they were focusing on the process of winning, not thinking about winning. And this is how your grandfather is calm and composed. And how about you? At least not as much. You know why? They learned all this in their childhood. They picked this wisdom from those stories in ancient scriptures, and hence they are calmer than you are. So, this is the best setting of your brain. Turn off your ego to turn on the teamwork, turn off your self orientation to boost up the performance, and importantly, stop following the trend. You will see the wisdom rising. You will be able to lead people with wisdom. So, where is it applicable? As a student, professional, director, vice president, CEO? The reality is it's applicable everywhere. The higher you go in the organization or the larger the organization become, you would require it more and more. Because the wiser you are, the better you make, the better influence you have people, the better followership you have, and of course, you get more success when you're wiser. The way of implementing this is different from different learnings, but these principles which I have shared with you are timeless. So if someone comes to you and say, "Oh, are you still following the ancient rules?" Just proudly say yes, because they are timeless, they will always work, and they can solve complex problems. So go, spend some time with your grandfather, read some ancient scriptures. There's so many: Mahabharata, Ramayana, Ved, Puran, Quran, Bible, so many of them. Just go read them. You will find your answer to complex problems. And with this, I rest my case. Go be with your grandfather. Thank you so much.